All right, we are recording. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Dowden. I'm the Assistant Director of Education Abroad, and I work in the Study Abroad office with Grace Schneider. She is the director. And then we also have another colleague who's going to be coming on, Livia Lopez, who's the Assistant Director of Latin American and Iberian Initiatives. Depending ultimately on what program you choose to take part in or where you want to study abroad, you might be working with me, you might be working with Grace, or you might be working with Livia. I'm also going to ask my teammates here to go ahead and introduce themselves. If you guys would like to go ahead.
Hello, my name's Isaiah. I'm a rising sophomore. I'm an elementary education major with a psychology minor. I have not yet studied abroad, but it is something I'm thinking about. And yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vince Lundy. I'm a rising senior here at Catholic, studying international economics and finance with a minor in sales. And this past semester, I studied abroad in Oxford, United Kingdom.
Hi guys, my name is Taya. I'm a senior musical theater major and I just studied last spring in London.
It's a very unique semester. All right, guys. So, in addition to all the reasons why we talk about someone maybe wanting to study abroad, I mean, personal growth, professional growth, opportunity to see the world, there are tangible benefits, real statistics that we can point to as to why you want to study abroad. I don't want to hit these home too hard because you guys are already here. I don't think I need to convince you on the value of studying abroad. But there are some unique stats. I do think it's interesting what studying abroad does in terms of the likelihood of you getting accepted to one of your first choices of graduate school, or you finding a job, or you finding a higher salary. One of the ones that always kind of stands out to me is that from freshman year to senior year, everyone on average, their GPA will go up. We mature, we adapt, we get better, we learn to manage the expectations that are placed on us. But usually students that have studied abroad will see their GPA increase twice as fast as those who had not studied abroad. Not an always thing, but just on average, that's something that's been seen. So just some neat, cool reasons to study abroad, or for you to share with your parents if they're not 100% on board yet with you going abroad, which in today's crazy world, that would be understandable. But we're here because we still are optimistic that it's a good experience and we want to make that happen. There we go. So a little bit of background about study abroad at Catholic University. A little over a third of our students will go abroad at some point while they're studying. Most of these will be credit-bearing programs, although we do have some programs, mission trips, for example, or athletic trips that would be non-credit bearing. But we try to help as many students have an international experience as are looking for it. As you can see, study abroad is open to all majors. We're going to be throwing up a poll here in a second, asking you guys in which school or department you're enrolled in. Please feel free to answer. Really, though, my colleagues and I, we believe that anyone can study abroad, regardless of what your major is, regardless of what your financial situation is. If someone wants to go abroad, we want to make that a reality for you. It is true that depending on what major you are, it could take more advanced planning than some of the other majors, which is why it's so important if you're at the session and you know you want to go abroad, as soon as you can, make sure that you have a conversation with your advisor. Let them know that you want to go abroad. Let them know when or what you're thinking about, because the sooner we can start planning your courses, if they can tell you, all right, if you want to go abroad sophomore year, take this course this semester, these courses next semester, and you can plan ahead to make sure that it's a possibility for you. The other piece of advice that I'll give you, many majors have what are called distribution requirements or general electives, right? These are our literatures, histories, philosophies, these shared liberal arts courses that everyone has to take. If you can save those and your free electives, if you can save those for the semester that you're going to go abroad, we can probably help you go almost anywhere. A great way to give yourself flexibility in where you can study abroad is to save those general education requirements. Um, Outside of that, you'll find that some schools or departments will have a preference on when you go abroad. Engineering majors, for example, bioscience, if you're biology, chemistry, that sort of thing. Usually they like students to go abroad spring of junior year. Um, Education majors, if you're going to do a semester, usually that's sophomore year. Same with nursing. Nursing, they want you to go abroad spring sophomore year. If not a summer, anyone can do any time pretty much. But just that is a conversation to have with your advisor. Outside of that, we have different kinds of programs. I mean, there are exchanges, there are internships. If you want to do an internship abroad, we can help you with that. We have faculty-led programs that are led by the same faculty that'll teach you courses here at CUA. All sorts of different options are available to you. As you can see, over 75 programs in 35 countries. Um, Here are just ones, almost all of these. We still have a couple of the ones or programs where we've run, our countries where we've run programs recently. If you guys have specific questions about a certain country or about a certain major, you can definitely ask those at the end. We are going to throw up one more poll just asking if you've thought about studying abroad, is there a region of the world where you are thinking about? So yeah, we're already seeing a lot of Europe. That's pretty normal. At least one for South America. Australia, great. Yep, a couple for Asia. And I'm going to break down some of the locations as we go through the different program types. So your very first opportunity to study abroad is going to be Rome, the first year experience Rome program. This is a 3-week program right at the end of freshman year. Basically, finals end, you move out, you go home, you have a week at home with your family or friends or wherever you're staying. And then you would depart from the airport that is closest to you and you go to Rome for 3 weeks. You take Italian 221. It is an English taught course, so you don't need to have taken Italian before, but it is a course that fulfills a history or a humanities requirement or a liberal arts elective. And really, it's looking at different things: Italian history, Italian culture, Italian art. It is a wonderful program if you either A, have never been out of the country before. It's a really good introduction to international travel, or B, maybe you've been out of the country, but you've never been on this sort of structured program. So having this kind of structure while traveling internationally, I think has its own benefits. The other thing that I want to highlight, this is true for the first year experience in Rome, and it's also true for our Rome semester program, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Rome is special in the design of the courses. It is not going to Rome and then you're spending all of your time in the center in the classroom. All of the professors there, regardless of what course you take, will try to build the city into the course. And so maybe, Tuesdays you're having class in the center, and then Thursdays you're having class at the Colosseum or at the Roman Forum or the Old Wall or the Pantheon or, the fountain. So the professors do a wonderful job there of getting students out and about in the city, seeing and smelling, I don't know, other senses if those appeal to you. You probably shouldn't be tasting the statues, but having this experience in Rome while you're learning about the things. As I mentioned before, there is the semester program, there's the liberal arts track. So we're always going to offer a literature, a philosophy, an art, a theology. So if you've saved those, Rome is going to be a possibility for you. There's an honors track, if anyone in here is in the honors program, and there's also an architecture track. The 7th floor of our center or our building, it is entirely designated to the architecture studio. But other than that, what I would say about the center that we have in Rome, I mean, it is beautiful. If you haven't seen pictures, we have gardens, there are terraces that overlook the city. If you want to, sit out in the sun while you study, there's dorms, classrooms, a chapel, cafeteria. We're right next to the Irish Embassy, and we're about a 5-minute walk from the neighborhood Trastevere, which is where you have a lot of shops and restaurants and just fun things to do as a visitor in Rome. I will also highlight that for the Rome semester program, we will send at least one DC faculty member every semester. You can see the schedule of who's going to be going to Rome right on the Rome website, which is rome.catholic.edu. And then if you click academics, But every semester, we're sending a faculty member from CUA to teach a couple courses there in Rome. In the past, we've had faculty from the School of Business. We've had psychology, history, English. Oop, I'm hitting buttons. And so you can look ahead, see what there is. One professor that I'm really excited to see how many students sign up for his class, I believe it's Dr. Baker, is going to be going. He's from the chemistry department, and he's going to be teaching a food science course with Italian food. So I'm sure that that one will be a very enjoyable experience to be in that class if you're a science major at all. Another one here, and I'm going to give a little bit of information, and then I'm going to pass over to Vince to share some of his background. So one unique experience you can apply to is Oxford. We do offer Oxford as a semester option or a summer option. What makes Oxford unique is the design of the courses, in that you are taking what are called tutorials. Tutorials are you and the professor, this person who's an expert in the field you're studying, just you and the professor one-on-one every week, getting into this topic that you really care about. Oxford is not, where you go to take your Lit 101 or your History 101. It's where you go if you've had a few courses in the subject, you love that subject, you want to go more in depth on it. And just every week you're writing a paper, you're going into class, you're defending that paper, and then getting deeper and deeper into the research. It is certainly one of the more challenging programs, but I think also one of the more rewarding programs, just in how it helps shape you as an academic and someone who's passionate about a field that you're studying. What would you add, Vince?
That's a great first start, Robert. I think I'll start off with the challenging part. It is very challenging in that you have two tutorials, quote unquote, during your first 8 weeks at Oxford. Then you have a spring break. Then after that, you have a smaller seminar session, which is basically a smaller version of a tutorial. But during those first 8 weeks, when you have those first two tutorials, you're meeting with the professor once a week for an hour-long discussion where you talk about your paper and you have conversation, and the professor will ask you questions. You can ask the professor questions about the topic. It's a great presentation and conversation. I would really call it conversation about the topic you're discussing. After that meeting, your professor will send you a paper, which is between 5 to 7 pages. It could be 1 to 7 pages, but that's the typical length of a paper. And you have to do readings that they assign you. So during a given week, I'll spend about 6 to 8 hours a day in the library reading, which I know sounds like a lot. It is a lot of work to do, but like Robert said, it's a class that you create and a topic you're very passionate about. So it's not a chore. It's something that you really want to do. And I had so much fun going to the library. I know that sounds really awkward to say, but I really enjoyed going to the library, reading, and then talking to my professors about the topic. So that's a little bit more about the academic side. And then socially, there's a lot of different clubs. Rowing is very popular there. Something that I did is I played soccer. So I played soccer over there and played about 5 to 7 games for it. It's like almost like a recreational league that I played in with my college, which would be the equivalent of your school in the United States. And so that was a lot of fun being able to play soccer while I was over there in the UK.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Vince. Nice. Other options you guys have, if you would like to do an internship, we do have some specialty internships, like for politics majors. We're in Washington, D.C., so we're going to offer some of those. You can do a parliamentary internship with either the British Parliament, the Irish Parliament, or even the European Union. I personally love the European Union internship because Margaret Malone, the program director, is just an incredible woman. But really, any major, if you are looking to do an internship, just come talk with us. Let us know when you want to go, where you want to go. Some programs, the internship is the key aspect of the program. Sometimes the internship is a component that you can add on. And then we have a few programs where they offer internships at the end of the semester, where you would do a semester's worth of classes and then do the internship at the end. So all sorts of different options for you. Exchange programs. A few of our exchange programs are targeted exchanges. So for example, Australian Catholic University, we send a lot of nursing students there. That's a spring program. Usually students do spring of sophomore year. But exchanges are incredible in that they are an incredibly immersive experience. They do really push you to empower yourself to be independent. That's not to say that you're without support. I mean, you always are going to have support. But these are programs where in many ways you can be just another student, you know, with the other local students that are taking classes. It's a little bit different than, say, if you were to do a partner or provider program where, you know, it's all American students on that program. So exchanges do give you that immersive feel. um, Many times they can be more affordable. They'll have a lower program fee, and I think just all around, um, I would say there are more opportunities as well for unique or interesting courses for a wider variety of majors on some of the exchange programs. Of course, we have faculty-led programs. For next summer, just so you guys know, because COVID has impacted some things, there are a few of these we will not be running, like the Irish Summer Institute. Unfortunately, we're not going to run in the summer. The first year experience we will run in Rome. We'll have a couple other programs in Rome. We're still going to try to run Oxford. And then outside of that, you know, we'll see how summer ends up shaping. But moving forward, I'm hopeful that after this academic year, we're going to kind of get a return to normalcy, and then things will, all the options will be back open for you guys, and maybe even some new options. So in terms of when you can study abroad, I mentioned before that first year experience in Rome program, that's your first opportunity. After that first semester sophomore year, you can do Rome. Second semester sophomore year, pretty much everything unlocks. If you want to do an exchange or you want to do a summer program or anything like that, all of that is open to you, just of course pending department approval. Requirements to study abroad, generally 2.3 GPA, good disciplinary standing. Again, you know, we talk about any major can go abroad. It's just a matter of planning. And then, of course, some programs will have additional requirements, but I'm always happy to answer questions about those. So the credit transfer process. This is the thing, if I'm being honest, this is what will stress most students out. If either you are applying to study abroad or you have a friend that's applying to study abroad, this is the thing that requires the most attention. You have many schools where when a student says that they want to go abroad, the school says, okay, go abroad. And then when you come back, show us your papers, your exams, whatever, and we'll decide if we're going to give you credit. That really is kind of a high risk proposition, right? So the policy that we have in place is that students have to get their courses evaluated and approved before we even accept you to study abroad. It is causing a little bit of a headache beforehand, but it saves you a much bigger headache in the long run. Because once you get your courses evaluated and approved, you have peace of mind after your acceptance before you're going abroad. You have peace of mind while you're abroad, and even after you get abroad. You don't have to feel compelled or to wonder, are they going to give me credit for my courses abroad? You do need at least a C- in order for us to acknowledge the credit that you earn, but I think that's a pretty low bar to clear. What else? I was going to say something else about credit transfer. No, maybe that's it. If I think of it, I'll come back to it. But this is one of those things. Oh, I know what I want to say. We try really hard to not have the application be a hurdle, right? Because I know what it's like. You tell yourself, oh, well, I still have to do my study abroad application. Outside of the credit approval form, for most programs, I mean, Oxford is different because you have your tutorial proposals. For most programs, you need to, it's like a half an hour application. So less than 30 minutes and you can get most of the application done. The one exception is this credit transfer, or we call it the credit approval form, because it requires different signatures and it can be a little bit more time consuming. But outside of that, don't let the application be a hurdle to you going abroad. Finances, I always like to talk about finances as they'll appear to you in chronological order. So the first expense that you encounter when you go to study abroad is an application fee. For summer programs, that's $45. For semester programs, it's $135. Let's say you pay your application fee, you complete your application, and you're accepted. Once you're accepted, you can still back out if you want to, or if you choose to commit, many programs will have a deposit. Depending on the deposit, the amount can change, or depending on the program, the amount of the deposit can change, and to whom you pay the deposit can change. Sometimes we'll collect the deposit, sometimes it goes to the partner where you want to study. But the deposit is not an additional fee, it is a down payment on the program fee. And the program fee is one of the two expenses that ultimately you're billed for. So once you are right before you're ready to go abroad, you get your bill the same you would any semester, the same you would you got your bill for this semester, and you should see two charges. There's the tuition charge, at least two charges from our office. If you have other ones, yeah. There's a tuition charge, which students pay the same COA tuition, and then a program fee. For most programs, that program fee is $5,000. And for almost all programs, with few exceptions, that program fee is going to cover your housing, your international health insurance, and your emergency evacuation insurance. From there, though, you really want to read the fine print because different programs for the exact same program fee can have different benefits. I would pay the same program fee for Madrid and Barcelona, but in Madrid, I get either a half meal plan or a full meal plan. In Costa Rica, I get a full meal plan and my laundry gets done, and they include several excursions. Maybe program A will include 2 excursions and program A includes 7. We do list all of that out right on the application pages on our website. So when you go to apply, you can click budget sheet and see everything you get. So what is the value to you? And so really just becomes, what value are you comfortable with for the experience that you want to have? So do try to pay attention to those. Outside of that, I'm happy to share that you keep your financial aid. Any scholarships you have, any loans, grants, all of that is transferred over automatically. You don't need to do anything to transfer your financial aid to study abroad. Grace and I will handle that on the back end. And yeah, just down here at the bottom, for most programs, not all, because you do have some programs where the cost of living is really higher, but for a good majority of programs, I would say what you pay for tuition, housing, and meals should be equal to or less than what you're paying to be in DC. So I mentioned at the beginning, we try not to let things like finances be a hurdle to you going abroad. So if that is a key concern of yours, you just come talk with us and we will find you programs that can work within your finances. And now it's time for Q&A. Oh yeah, feel free in the chat box to ask your questions. All right. Isaiah, you want to read the questions, please, sir?
Yep, I got you.
Thank
All
you.
right, so first question is the Oxford program mentioned different from the one that is offered in the honors program that is available to the first-year students?
Nope, same Oxford program. And one thing this is a really good question. We have had freshmen apply for the summer Oxford program. At least in my experience, what it can come down to is how strong of a writer are you? Oxford is the only program where you have to interview to be accepted. And one of the requirements that they look a lot at is how strong is the writing sample that you submit. Usually we'll send sophomores and juniors because at that point students have developed a little bit more as writers. But if you feel you're an exceptionally strong writer and you want to apply for this program, go for it.
Next question is, are all summer options only 3 weeks long?
No, we have summer programs of all different lengths, 3 weeks, 4, 5, 6, 10. Many of our programs will offer different blocks. So for example, we have a program in Greece that offers 4-week blocks and you can do 1 block, 2, 3. It just really depends on how much of your summer you want to spend out of the country. And then of course it depends on finances, what you're comfortable with.
So 2 questions about scholarships. What types of scholarships are available for the summer options? And then are different scholarships only available to specific programs?
I'm going to answer the second question first. Yes, you have some scholarships that are only available to specific programs, or you have, they can even be specific, of course, to different students of different backgrounds. And then the types, there are some that are through our office. The majority of scholarships, though, are going to come from outside sources. We do list a number of those right on our website. So if you go to cuabroad.catholic.edu and then click finances, you'll see a link with a long list of outside scholarships. One of the services our office provides, if you are going to apply for an outside scholarship, is that we can help review your scholarship essay. Both Grace and I have served on different scholarship committees for some of these outside organizations, and so we know what the committees look for in awarding them. We're happy to give you feedback and help, try to make your essay applying for a scholarship as strong as possible. Some of the ones through our office, we do have a scholarship for the first year experience program. We normally give out about 5 of those. And the links to apply are all on our website too for these scholarships. We do have a diversity scholarship. We have a scholarship called Luis Ambrosio, which is designed to either support students from a Latinx background or who are going to study abroad in a Spanish-speaking country. Those students will get preference in that. There are some other qualifications, but that's boiling it down to a minimum. Then you even have scholarships that are through other offices. Not every year, but we have had previously scholarships offered for modern languages, depending if you're a major within their department. We've had scholarships from the honors program. I believe that's the Merkel Fund. I have to double check. You also have huge scholarships that don't necessarily apply to our affiliated programs, but they're so good that we will still help you apply for them. Scholarships like the Boren Scholarship or the Gilman, where they're covering 100% of your expenses, or close to. However we can be of help, of course, we're going to try to be of help.
Awesome. Next question. What do you recommend for student athletes who would like to study abroad?
Yeah, talk with your coach. Find out, I know student athletes typically don't go abroad in season, right? So see what they say if there is a semester, that they feel like they're okay with you not being there. I know many times in college sports, you have the off-season training programs. The best thing to do is talk with a coach, let them know that it's a priority for you. And then if they need to talk with me, of course, I'm always available. Or, if we absolutely have to, I know some sports will span both semesters. And so if we have to talk summer programs, we can do that too.
Where exactly can you find out which department staff will be in the location you're looking at?
I'm a little confused by this question. So we do send our faculty to Rome, and if you go to rome.catholic.edu and then click academics, you'll be able to find that. If you are looking for who are the department heads to talk about study abroad within each department, if you Google CU Abroad and then AAC, that's short for Academic Advising Coordinator, it'll bring up our webpage that has the list of academic advising coordinators, and it'll show you who you should go to talk about your study abroad plans. If I didn't answer the question, feel free to retype it. I'm sorry that I'm a little confused by that one.
Next question is the abroad program subject to change due to COVID, or will they have pretty much the same opportunities?
Very good question. For the immediate future, COVID has definitely had an impact. I mean, we had to bring students home early in the spring, which we really regretted doing. We had to cancel summer, cancel this fall. In the spring, students have to petition if they're going to go somewhere outside of the Rome Center. It has definitely impacted us, at least for the immediate future. I am trying to be optimistic. I think my director and I would like to think that it is only going to impact us for this academic year. My provost, Dr. DeMello, who's the head of the Global Strategies Office, is tentatively planning that things might be impacted as long as next fall. So the hope is that in a worst case scenario, we're back to normal with all programs by spring 2022, which is when most of you would be doing a semester program anyways. I'm trying to be optimistic and hoping to see if we can at least be back to normal by next fall, but we'll see. Very good question.
And the next question is, does financial aid apply to studying abroad?
Absolutely, it does. One thing that I'll highlight, because I did mention before, you keep your scholarships, your grants, your loans, and all of that. Sometimes students ask about financial aid applying to summer programs. Usually, when a student has a scholarship, the scholarship money is used entirely between the fall and the spring semester. So by the time summer comes around, there's not any scholarship money left. If for some reason you did have scholarship money left, of course you could use it. But speaking for the semester, yes, all of your financial aid stays the same. You don't need to do anything as long as you're attending an affiliated study abroad program.
I,
Other questions, guys?
I don't have any more in the chat right now, but
Oh, I feel like I went a little fast. I hope I didn't miss anything.
oh, yes. Can you go through some of your more popular programs that aren't Rome or Oxford?
Yeah, we send a lot of students to Spain. It used to be Barcelona, but in the past couple of years, Madrid has been hugely popular. Some of it can be dependent on your major. So, for example, there's a 4-week summer program in Dublin for nursing majors, and students or nursing majors usually go summer after sophomore year, but the course that they take is equivalent to the nursing research course, and normally students would do the nursing research course senior year. And so we have a lot of these rising juniors take this course in Dublin to then have an easier senior year. I would say for politics majors, that European Union internship has been very popular. Um, what else? Oh, Costa Rica has been very popular, although I think a lot of that is just due to me and talking about it because I studied abroad in Costa Rica. So it's really easy for me to say a lot of great things about Costa Rica. Um, Australia, of course, gets its due attention. Yeah. Does anyone have, I think that's a really good question. Does anyone have any location specific questions you guys want to ask about a certain country or major?
Robert, real quick, I was going to add on something that to your
Yeah.
previous answer. Also the Belgium internship, the European Parliament, European Union internship program is very popular with students go to Brussels in Belgium. That's very popular with politics students. That's a really good program that people really enjoy too.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm happy to hang out a little bit longer in case anyone wanted to ask their question when there's less attention. But otherwise, to everyone else, thank you guys so much for coming. I look forward to working with all of you guys soon. One last thing I'll add. Um, if you go onto our site and which is cuabroad.catholic.edu, and scroll down just a little bit, you'll find a link to a 101 video, and that goes even more in depth into the finances and how to start an application and research programs. So if that's something you're interested in doing, just to kind of learn about that process, you can do that. The link is right on our website. It's like a 15-minute YouTube video. Um, so, looks like we have a couple more questions.
Yeah, we got two more questions. Can you talk about the Hispanic Studies program in Chile?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is a program in Valparaiso, Chile. They're one of our exchange partners. You can also do a semester in Chile if you would like with Valparaiso. Um, and then for the summer one, yeah, with that one, you're doing Spanish language study, of course. You live with a host family. Um, I'm trying to think what else I would normally talk about. I mean, I can say generally the students have a great experience. Uh, at one point, we were looking into trying to make that a faculty-led program, but I think it's still relatively new, and we're trying to grow it more. So what it is now could change, but yeah, generally you go to Chile, you live with a host family, study Spanish language. Chile is very high on my list. I would love to go there, so I would have to give it a try.
Awesome. Next question. Could you go over some programs for the musical theater majors?
Yeah, so we have 2 new programs for musical theater majors. If you want to study abroad in a fall semester, you can do the Institute of the Arts in Barcelona. If you want to do a spring semester, we have a new exchange with Rose Beaufort College, and they're in the United Kingdom. And if you want more information on the like academics, just talk with Dr. Jay Brock. He would be your best contact for the academics conversation with those partners or with those programs.
And then another question, do study abroad students still typically take the full 5 course load?
This is a really smart question. So credits in other countries are, the system is not the same as the US system. You know, in the United Kingdom, they have what are called CADs, CADS. They have ECT in much of Europe. In Australia, they have units. In New Zealand, they have papers, all sorts of different names and modules and whatever. Um, it really depends on what the credit system is. So, for example, in the United Kingdom, a full course load is often either only 3 or 4 courses, but there'll be a little bit more work. It's almost always equal work to what we would say is a full course load, right? 15 US credits or 5 3 credit classes. Um, but it's just different. In Spain, if the classes are 5 ECT, you're normally doing 6 5 ECT courses in order to get to 30 ECT, which is a full course load for them. In France, many of the courses are 2 or 4 ECT, and so you end up taking 11 or 12 classes when you're in France. But again, at the end of the day, the workload is pretty much equal to what you would be doing here in the US. Um, Australia, full course load is 4 courses. Um, Latin America, it's pretty similar where you're doing 5. Yeah, it varies by the program, but good question.
And then, are there any programs for criminology majors to study abroad?
There are not specifically that I have seen. I do know that criminology majors have a lot of general electives, and so chances are, if you were going abroad, you would do your general electives abroad. But criminology, it's at least, unless I'm misremembering, it's still a relatively new major, and so that's not one that we've been able to focus on for abroad. We do have a program for security, which is a little bit different. That's not quite sociology based like criminology is. Um, I'd have to look into that one. If you really want more information, or if you want a firm answer, my email's right there on the screen. Please do send me an email and I can get you a better answer.
Do you think the engineering schools program with Hong Kong Polytechnic will be available in the near future?
This one's a little bit heartbreaking. Probably not. We are right now in active agreements with them. And you know, anytime we have these exchange agreements, there's a lot that goes into it. Because for example, we are interested and our School of Engineering is interested. Dr. Abbott, by the way, is an incredible advocate for study abroad in the School of Engineering. If you need to talk with someone about study abroad for engineering, Dr. Abbott is awesome. Um, and the international office in Hong Kong is interested in maintaining this exchange. But they've had some changes to their schools or departments of engineering, where some of the engineering professors want to keep the partnership, some don't. And so we're reevaluating if it's worth it to keep the partnership for it only being available to a limited number of students. That's me giving you a very honest answer. So I don't know that that one will be available. We have established and we're looking to develop more engineering options in Asia, if that's what you're looking at. And then of course we have other options for engineering majors as well. And if you want to send me an email and let me know what specifically, if you're a mechanical engineering major or a civics engineering major, no, civil, civic. If you're a certain type of engineering major, just send me an email and I'll let you know which of our partnerships offer the courses to meet your designation within the engineering field. Civil engineer. I don't know why I said civics. Great question so far, guys. So as people need to go, again, thank you so much for your time. I'm really wishing you guys a great orientation day. But, if you want to stay and ask more questions, I'm here. But otherwise, thank you guys.